Hi, this is Sarah B, and I'm going to be leading you through a 20-minute sequence here, which is specifically for people who go cycling a lot. It's also very good for runners, but specifically for cyclists. So I want you please to begin by standing on your mat with your feet about hip width apart. Before I go on, just make sure that you have a belt and a block and either a blanket or a towel. So if you don't have any of those, press pause for a moment now, go and get them, and then come back again and join us. So come back please to standing on your mat with your feet hip width apart, your toes pointing straight forwards. Squeeze your legs and then interlace your hands behind your back. Slightly press your arms away from each other to the side walls. Make sure that your chin is parallel to the floor, and then as you begin to straighten your elbows, come into a nice chest stretch. Bring your hands up a little bit higher, and as you do this, keep squeezing your legs, press your feet towards each other, raise your chin just a little bit, and strengthen your upper back. Stay here for a couple more breaths as you breathe deeply, breathe thinly and deeply and completely. And then slowly release your hands. Bring your hands down by your sides. Bring your right arm forward, turn your thumb down, and then bring your arm all the way around the back of your body so the back of your hand is on the back left side of your waist. And then with your right hand, hold your hand. And with your right hand, press your left hand forward and nudge your shoulder back. Coming into a nice stretch here on the right shoulder. If you can take this a little bit further, change this and bring your left arm like this into like a spade position. And with the hand that's behind your back, grab the bicep and then press your arm forward, your left arm forward. Take a couple more breaths here. Gently press your tailbone down towards your heels. And then release your left hand. Bring both of your hands down by your side. Do a couple of shoulder shrugs back and then forwards. And then come back into a neutral position. Legs strong, arms back, shoulders back. And bring your left arm up. Turn the thumb down again. Bring your arm all the way around the back of your body. Tuck your hand around the waist. And again, hold hands. And press both of your hands forwards so that you can nudge your left shoulder back. And the right shoulder too. Slightly press your feet and your legs towards each other. Raise your chest, gaze forward, and breathe into your left shoulder. And then slowly release your hand. Take this further and bring your hand around your bicep and press the right hand forward. Stay holding hands if you need to, if your shoulders feel a little tight. When you're in that cycling position, the arms, the shoulders are quite locked in place. So this is a really nice counter stretch to do. Not necessarily straight after you've been cycling, any time of the day or the week. Now release this stretch, let your hands go. And then from here, arms down by your side, step wide. Now interlace your hands behind your back like you did before. Press your arms away from each other and then begin to straighten your arms behind you. Make sure you're not hitching your shoulders up by your ears. Just have your shoulders loose. You can even press them up and down a couple of times so you know your shoulder blades are gliding easily on your back. Bring your hands a little higher and then fold forwards. Bend your knees as much as you need to when you fold forwards. You might find when you've come completely forward, you can straighten your legs a little bit. Press your feet towards each other and let your arms hang over your head at a comfortable position. Now from here, let your hands separate and bring your hands down to the floor and straighten your elbows. Bring your left hand a little closer to the right hand and then bring your right arm out to the side. You're going to come into a twist here. As you push your left hand down into the floor, slowly begin to bring your right arm up a little bit more and turn your belly to the right. Keep squeezing your legs strong. Keep lifting up your kneecaps with your thigh muscles, your quadricep muscles. And you can look down or across as you please. Now come into a twist on the other side. Bring your right hand down. Bring your left arm out to the side. Keep it low, keep it parallel to the floor to begin with. Squeeze your legs, firm your abdominal muscles, and then begin to twist a little bit more, easing open the muscles on your back. Again, you can look down or across. And then from here, as you exhale, slowly bring that hand back down again. Come onto your fingertips. Bend your knees, bring your hands onto your hips, and hinge up to standing. Heel toe your feet together, and then come to the top of your mat. Separate your feet to hip width apart. Inhale, bring your arms out to the side and up overhead. Bend your knees, exhale and fold. Bring your hands to the sides of your feet. Bend your knees as much as you need to here. And then from here, take a big step back with your left foot. Now, this is the point where you might want your blanket to create some softness under your knee, because you're going to bring your knee down to the floor and keep it here for a few breaths. So bring that back knee down, keep your fingertips on the floor, and press your front foot towards your back knee quite strongly so the back of your leg engages. And then from here, bring your hands onto your hips and come up into the low lunge. Bring your shoulders back. Now, you might notice here that I've got my back toes tucked under. I want you to change that and bring the toenails down to the floor. Cyclists often have their feet in this position of the toes pointing forwards and the side muscle of the shin really engaged. So I want you to do the opposite of that and point the back toe, kind of like a ballet dancer. And press the back toes down quite strongly. As you stay here for a few more breaths, see if you can bend your right knee a little bit more, bringing a bit more of a stretch into the front of the left thigh. And then bring your arms up overhead. Bend your elbows so that your elbows are at a 90-degree angle, and then bring your arms back and raise your chest. Keep pressing your front foot towards your bent back knee. And then coming out of this, slowly look down, bring your hands to either side of your front foot, tuck the back toes under, pick up the back leg, come into a high lunge just for a couple of breaths here as you round your back and look down. In fact, even tuck your chin slightly under so you lengthen the back of your neck. And then step the back foot forward. Take as many little steps forward as you need to come to the front of the mat. Keep looking down, but raise your chest away from the floor. And again, if you need to bend your knees here, do. It's bringing a nice stretch into the back of the legs before we do that lunge on the other side. So from here, coming to the lunge on the other side, bend both of your knees and take a step back with the right leg. Change the position of the towel or the blanket as you need to so that it can rest, your knee can rest down on something soft. Keep your hands on the floor for a moment here as you press your front foot to your back knee and your back knee towards that front foot, towards the back of the heel. And then again, make sure that the back toes are tucked under so the toenails are on the floor, and press down there strongly as you bring your hands onto your hips. Bring your shoulders back. And again, bring your arms up overhead. And then bend both of your elbows and bring your arms back. Keep strong in your legs. See if you can bend your front knee a little bit more as you keep moving the right hip point forwards towards your front foot. Keep your chin parallel to the floor. And then bring your hands down and again tuck the back toes under and pick up the back knee. See if you can really breathe into the front of that right leg, bringing a big stretch into the hip flexor. And then from here, instead of stepping the back foot forward, come into downward facing dog. So bring your hands flat, step the front foot back. If you've got the towel here, just move it out of the way. And step back. So push your hands forward so you can squeeze your legs, bring more weight to your legs and press your heels down. And then from here, bring your knees down to the floor. We're going to do a couple of back bends. So come all the way down onto your belly and bring your hands down by the sides of your waist. Squeeze your legs towards each other and come up into a little baby cobra. Slightly tuck your chin down. When you're cycling, you're always raising your chin and looking forward. So instead of doing that, tuck the chin down so you can lengthen the back of your neck and press your hands back towards your feet. And again, you can come down, you can come into a small cobra. It doesn't have to be high. But do squeeze your shoulders together on your back and down towards your tailbone. And then from here, go back into downward facing dog. So tuck your toes under, push your knees into the floor and press back. Come back to being aware of your breathing. Lengthen your breath, deepening your breath. Nourishing every cell of your body, slowly and gently. And then bring your knees back down to the floor. We'll do one more belly down back bend. Come all the way down. This time, bring your arms ahead of you. Palms facing each other. Squeeze your legs. Pick up your legs and press your legs towards each other. And again, push your heels away from you and tips of your toes down towards the floor. So again, you're coming into that position where you're lengthening your calf muscles. And as you continue to look down, bring both of your arms up. Keep pressing your legs towards each other. Keep looking down. 3, 2, 1. And then bring your legs down. Bring your hands again by the sides of your waist. Come into downward facing dog. Push your knees down. Tuck your toes under. Lift up and press back. Bring your knees down to the floor again, and this time sit onto your heels, sit onto your feet. And get your blanket or your towel and fold it nicely so there are no creases. I want you to sit on this blanket. It's just like a little perch for your bottom, so it's slightly elevated, making this pose, Baddha Konasana, slightly easier, a bit more accessible. So sitting on your mat, on your towel or on your blanket, bring the soles of your feet together and your hands onto the floor behind you or onto the towel. Bring your shoulders back, and as you press your feet towards each other, lengthen your inner thighs by pressing your knees towards the side walls. And be quite strong, pressing your feet together. Now release this and reach around and get your block. If you don't have a block, get a book, get a big fat book, and put the block or the book in between your feet, the skinniest side. If you have one of those big fat blocks, then make sure it really is the skinniest side. And then again, bring your hands onto the floor behind you and squeeze the block quite strongly. So we stay here for a few more breaths. Notice your breathing again. Lengthen it and deepen it. Breathing into your lower back. Imagine your lungs reach all the way down into your lower back. Breathe all the way down there, nourishing, releasing any tightness you might be feeling as you lengthen your spine and stretch open your hips. Now, I know this one's quite uncomfortable. It's going to feel really good now as you release this. Take the block away and go back to that first position, the soles of your feet together. If you know this pose and you're quite open in your hips, you can bring your hands around your feet and come into a little bit more of a hinging forward position, forward folding. If this is quite accessible to you, then bring your elbows in front of your shins, and you can even press your elbows into your shins and perhaps come down a little bit more. But be aware of how ambitious you are here and ease off, be gentle. If you're someone who cycles a lot and doesn't stretch a lot, you're probably feeling quite rusty in your hips. So take your time with this and keep coming back to this recording as often as you can, and you'll definitely find over the weeks and the months this becomes easier and easier. From here, release. Bring your knees up, get your strap, and come to lying down. If you know you're a little stiff in your neck, little tight in your shoulders, it's quite nice to put your head on your blanket here so that your chin isn't high above the level of your nose. You'll see what I mean when I come down. So from here, if you've got a ponytail in a clip or anything, take it out. If you rest your head on the blanket, it slightly raises your nose up. It's a little bit more comfortable. From here, lengthen your legs long down the mat, squeeze your legs towards each other, and then pick up your right leg and get your strap. You can use a belt, a normal sort of leather belt that you wear around your trousers if you don't have one of these yoga belts, and put the belt underneath the ball of your foot to lengthen the back of your legs. If you're super flexible and you don't need a belt and you can just grab your big toe or your foot, by all means go for that. But I recommend you use the belt because it's just a little bit more easeful. You don't have to strain so much. Keep lengthening and straightening the leg you can't see, the left leg, pushing the heel long as you push the right heel up towards the ceiling and press your toes down towards your face. Make sure your elbows are straight, that you've walked your hands up the strap so that you can relax your shoulders. And have a quick check that your right knee is pointing towards your right ear, not your left ear. So you've got your knee in a nice position so you can lengthen all the muscles down the back of your leg, not just the inner leg. Now from here, we're going to do one more position. Bring the left strap into your right hand and bring your left hand onto your left leg. And slowly bring your right leg down towards the floor, squeezing both of your legs as you do this. When your left hip point starts to really come up, bring this right leg up a little bit. And then from here, if you need to bend the knee, bring that leg all the way up again. Bend the leg, take the strap away. Lengthen your right leg down the mat and squeeze your legs together again. Keep the right leg as it is in place and pick up your left leg and put the strap underneath the ball of your left foot and lengthen long. This pose is called Supta Padangustasana. Soften your shoulders. Check that your left knee is pointing towards your left shoulder and you're pushing both of your heels away from the center of your body. Breathe into the back of your leg and make sure that this leg is straight so that you can squeeze the quadricep muscles strong. So if the knee is slightly bent, slide your hands down the strap and you can bring the leg further away from you. There's nothing wrong with doing that. It's important that the leg is engaged. Now bring the right strap into your left hand, bring your right hand onto your right leg and slowly bring your left leg down towards the side without touching the floor. And again, if the right hip is coming up, just bring your left leg up a little bit because you've gone past the point of this being effective if the hip's coming up. Be strong, squeeze your legs. And then when you're ready, on your next inhalation, bring that left leg all the way up. Bend the knee, take the strap away. Put the strap down by the side of your mat. You're not going to use that again, so just push it away. And then bring both of your knees in towards your shoulders. So your left hand's on your left knee and your right hand's on your right knee. And gently draw them in so you can really lengthen out the lower back. And as you do this, twizzle your ankles in one direction, slowly, and then the other direction. 2, 3, 4 times each way. And then let your feet be still. And then from here, opening up the side of your hip, bring both of your feet to the floor. Coming into eye of the needle, bring your right leg up, turn the knee out to the side, and bring your ankle on top of your left thigh, just below the left knee. Then draw both of your legs up towards your chest. Bring your right hand inside the right leg, in the hole that you've made with the right leg, and interlace both of your hands behind the back of the left leg. Let the left leg relax. Separate the toes of the right foot. And gently draw your left knee in, perhaps a little closer towards your left shoulder, breathing into your right hip. A couple more breaths here. If you feel like your left hip is hitching up towards your left shoulder, just nudge it towards the front of your mat so that your hips lie evenly. And then release your hands, bring your left foot to the floor, then your right foot, and come into the other side. So the left leg turns out to the side. Bring both of your legs up. Change the interlace of your fingers to the non-dominant clasp behind the back of your right leg. Again, the right leg is soft. Gently draw your right knee in towards your right shoulder. And breathe into the stretch on your left hip. Soften your shoulders, your face, all the muscles around your eyes and your mouth. Make sure that your jaw is loose by gently moving your jaw a little to the left and the right and up and down. And then slowly release the right leg, bring the right foot to the floor, bring your hands down, bring both of your feet down. Separate your feet quite wide apart to the edges of the mat and keep them like that as you drop both of your knees over to the right. Make sure that your feet haven't come together, that they're really quite far apart. Now that both of your legs are over to the right, keep them there and bring your arms overhead. Grab your left wrist and bring both of your hands over to the right. So you're stretching the outside of your left shoulder as well as all down the left side of your body. Press both of your feet down into the floor, so the inner left foot and the outer right foot. And press your left knee a little bit more towards the front of your mat. And then stay here as you soften for a couple more breaths, breathing more purposefully into your left lung. Now release your hands, bring them down by your sides. Press your feet down so that when you inhale you can bring your knees up. Reposition your feet so they're on your mat, right on the edges of the mat, and when you're ready, exhale and bring your knees down to the left. Position yourself nicely. If you want to move your bottom a little bit more over to the right, do that. Then bring your arms overhead and grab your right wrist. Bring both of your hands over to the left. Make sure your arms and your hands are on the floor. Your right arm might be a little bit off the floor, but make sure that the other arm is flat so that you can be comfortable and you're not creating any tightness in your upper back and your neck. And then breathe into the right side of your body. Nudge the knee slightly forward, the hip slightly forward. Relax your left buttock. Make sure that your head is soft, your neck is relaxed. And breathe deeply. From here, release your arms. Bring your arms down by your sides again. Bring both of your knees up. And then bring the soles of your feet together. Gently pressing them together, let your knees drop down to the floor, stretching the inner thighs. And stay here for a few more breaths. If you find this uncomfortable in your lower back, push your feet together, pick your bottom up a little bit and press your tailbone more towards your feet and come back down again. And then bring your knees together, coming into bridge pose. Make sure the soles of your feet are down and your knees are up. And that if you straighten your arms, your fingertips just about touch your heels. Keep your legs like this. Push your feet down as you pick your bottom up and interlace your hands underneath your bottom, nudging your shoulder blades closer to each other under your back. Press your hands down. See if you can press your chest and your belly and your hips up a little bit higher as you press your tailbone towards your knees. And then press your knees towards each other. A couple more breaths here. Slightly raise your chin. And then release your hands. Slowly come all the way down. Let your arms separate so that you can bring your spine down slowly, ending with your tailbone. And then lengthen one leg long, and then the other leg long. And rest here in Shavasana for as long as you want, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I'm going to stay here just for 1 more minute. But you can continue as long as you want. Close your eyes. Make sure that your palms are either facing up or in towards your body so that your fingertips aren't touching the floor. Soften and drop your entire body, releasing and relaxing. When you come out of this pose, bend both of your knees, roll over onto your right side. Stay here for a few moments. And then press down with your left hand and then your right hand, bringing yourself up into a seated position. Thank you for practicing with me. Come back to this video as many times as you need. Namaste.